name is Maja Watkins. I am the founder of Zip Zap Zop Enrichment, which is a nonprofit using improv as the approach to teach social skills. It started as for a program for children with autism, and it's evolved to inclusive working with all abilities because we all learn from one another. And improv games was a natural way to practice communication using a non-judgmental, fun activity like improv games. And I'm the author of The Brain's Playground, using improv games to teach social and emotional learning, which consists of 50 of my games with true stories from a research project I conducted with a professor. And that book is out now. About 3 years ago, a mother who has a son with autism did a presentation about my program and how much it's benefited her child. And the professor was really interested in the work, so she brought me in to do some work with her clients because she had worked with 2 boys who had behavioral issues at home. She was their behavioral therapist, and she saw them just improve dramatically with their communication and their behaviors. So she was like, we need to share this with more people. I want to write a textbook and kind of pull the information out of you. So we conducted a year-long research project with a social skills class in the home setting, as well as a social skills camp that I conducted, and she would write notes about the things I was doing. And that kind of evolved into the book, backed up by assessment sheets we created and theory using like Lev Vygotsky and Dewey, and a lot of the big child development leads already had a lot to say about play and how important play is. And we just kind of added on to that using the improv games as the structure to help teachers learn to play and help therapists learn to play. And it's a resource for parents, therapists, and teachers. So that was, like 6 or 7 years before the research project. I was taking improv classes at the Second City, and I was a one-on-one with a child who was limited verbal. And I was an ABA therapist. I was learning how to do the behavioral therapy. And I realized the improv games were just something that I could do with him off the cuff at home to help him with his imagination skills, which is a huge area for children with autism. And I actually stopped going the path of ABA because I realized improv was more fit what I was thinking could be a big deal in the idea that the natural speech could come out through the games. Like, for example, my brother Zach, I'm super open about him. You know him. He talks very robotically sometimes, and I almost feel like if he had improv to practice his communication, it would have been beneficial for him. It's truly a spectrum. In a kind of a simple way, I like to just say that social skills are something that can be less noticeable with children on the spectrum, and that doesn't mean they can't learn them and learn ways to connect, but it's that idea that they don't only need to learn social skills, we need to learn how to be okay with the way they communicate as well. So it's a lot about just communicating. In my eyes, when I work with people with autism, it's that their way of communicating might not be the way some people would perceive the communication. So it's like putting yourself in kind of like little boxes in your brain. So if you see someone crying, it's not that you don't empathize with that feeling and you don't feel sad for that person, but that crying might not necessarily trigger that cue to react and be show that empathy right away, as an example. And again, it's such a spectrum. This isn't like everyone's experience. There's so many different people with so many different quirks as humans. But autism, I think a lot of times you tend to think someone who doesn't pick up on social cues as easily. But it's kind of interesting because if you think about back in the day, people learn social etiquette and like ways to like be a part of society. It used to be a huge thing you would learn, if you were like a royal queen or something, you would learn like social skills. So I think also there's something to say that not everyone is born with them, but that doesn't mean we can't practice and learn them. But they're not maybe born as naturally. So people with autism vary in their social skills and abilities, but they still feel so much. It's kind of exciting because social emotional learning is becoming a more well-known area to put energy towards in education. And it's actually just saying kids need to learn social skills, and they need to value those skills as much as science or math or academics. Children who are limited verbal, I've noticed, are speaking more often in the Zip Zap Zop classes the longer they take them, because they get all these different times to practice. Like there's games where they get to become different characters, and when you're a different character, sometimes that allows your brain to open up to these ideas, which allows those verbal skills to kind of come out without judgment. And it's all about being wrong. It's honestly about not saying the right thing a lot of the time in improv games, because there's no wrong answer. It's like you yes and you take whatever is given to you and you go with it. So I really drill that then no kid will be told they said or did anything wrong. So then it kind of frees up that idea of making more mistakes, and then that allows more verbal communication, and that's been really beautiful. So I definitely think just more connecting, more talking, breaking down those barriers, and taking out the fear and the confusion with games and laughter. So many games. I have a lot on my YouTube channel now. There's a game called Stone Face where you try to make others laugh, and I love that game. And you have to keep a serious face if you're the one being in the hot seat. And this game is great for empathy, because you think in perspective, like, what would make this person laugh? So you might say a silly joke and you have to keep a stone face and say like mumbo jumbo, whoever is trying not to laugh. And it's great for people with autism, because a lot of times they get stuck in their own perspective and what might make them laugh. So that game has been like great, because it's given kids a lot of epiphany about other people's sense of humor, and then also impulse control of your emotions. So like Zach, for example, my brother, he's definitely had like bursts of emotions in the past, and a game like this could have taught maybe some of that self-regulation. I'll teach another game real quick. Okay, this game is called Gift Exchange, and it's really good with going with the flow and not sweating the small stuff. So I'm going to give you a gift, Brad, and you have to say thank you, or Bradley, however you're going by. You have to say thank you and tell me what you're going to do with the gift. And even if it's a terrible gift, you have to say thank you. Okay. So I'm going to give you an old bowl of spaghetti.
Thank you. I'm going to wear this bowl of spaghetti as a hat.
Perfect. Awesome. Now you give me a gift.
Now I'll give you a gift. I'm going to give you part of my beard.
Thank you. I will make a wig out of this and play a leprechaun in a show. I have a whole series on YouTube right now called my Yes and series, where I just teach different ways to play yes and games, like yes and party, where you all add something to a party, or yes and alien, where you all add something to a made up alien in front of you, and you just keep yes anding whatever it is. And kids, I mean, that game is such a fast way to teach collaboration and getting kids like out of their head a bit. The games are the exercises where we get to practice. And if you think about being a baby and you see your baby laugh for the first time, that's such a connection just right there, that immediate response. And all people in the world deserve to feel that. So I think that a person with autism deserves to find out like how to make someone laugh or how to make someone have those big reactions, because it feels so good and it's such an immediate gratification. Like with ABA therapy, they give like food as an award sometimes, like, oh, you pressed the right index card, you get a Skittle. I like to learn social skills. And that's not as healthy as a natural positive reinforcement like laughter. I think is a good way to sum it up.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching, and I want to give a big thank you to Maja Watkins for joining me. That was a fascinating topic. She's the founder of Zip Zap Zop Enrichment. She's the author of The Brain's Playground, using improv games to teach social and emotional learning. So I will leave the links for both of those below. Also, if you like the music that's going on right now, I mean, if you found yourself dancing a little bit, it's okay. I will leave a link to my sister's Instagram page. She composed the music, so you can find more music down there. Other than that, I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope life is swell. I didn't mean to rhyme, but another video will be coming out soon. If you have any questions, any comments, if you want to see another topic in the future, go ahead and just leave a comment and let me know. Other than that, stay safe, rock on. This has been Man of Nothing.